Thanks for joining us for another episode of Already Won, a Sports Friends podcast. Each week, Coach Ben and Coach Kyle share their insights, interview special guests, present teachable moments, and offer some extra words of wisdom. The victory is ours, because we've already won.
Hello and welcome to Already Won, a Sports Friends podcast. I'm your host, Ben Wildman, going by the name of the Wildcat. And I'm here with the Mad Dog, Kyle Apps.
I'm here too.
How are you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing well. I'm thawing out. You know, winter's done, spring's flying, and summer's just around the corner.
There we go. There's a lot of photos in the world of sport. We've got playoffs. We've got end of season. I know some teams have done better than others, depending on what team you support. But yeah, loads of stuff to be excited about, right?
Loads of stuff to be sitting doing this remote control, channel surfing, flipping between the play NBA, the English Premier League, all this stuff. Even the lower divisions. I hear there's some drama going on.
Well, this is what we're talking about today. We promised the listeners we will talk about Wrexham, and today we're bringing in a Welshman. We have an Englishman, an American, and a Welshman walking into a bar. No, it's not a joke. It is no joke that we've got these in. What is also no joke, Kyle, is that we already won. And remember, guys, this podcast is for those who are Christians, who play sport. Maybe you coach, maybe you're a supporter. Maybe you're a supporter of Wrexham is what we're talking about today. But just remember, do not quit because we already won. And Kyle, has Wrexham Mania taken over the US?
Well, when Ryan Reynolds joins us in a few minutes, he'll be able to explain all that. You know, you said I thought Ryan was Canadian.
Ryan he's Canadian, but he sent his apologies. He couldn't come, but we've got the next best thing. Yeah, next best thing.
The next time he's coming, next week he's going to be here.
Next season. Yeah, next season. Hopefully,
he's going to be here.
Next season. Yeah.
So he's not Welsh, Ryan Reynolds.
I actually didn't know he wasn't Canadian, but yeah, who knew? And the other guy, no one knows him right over here. He's a Philadelphia Eagles fan, Rob Meckel. Any?
Yep, there you go.
Yep,
that's good. That's good.
Yeah. But we have got Lloyd Thomas on this
Lloyd
podcast
Thomas.
Lloyd
is
Thomas.
He the silent owner? One of the silent owners of Wrexham?
He's not silent owner, but he is. He's not a silently, and he's a Christian in sport. He's had a great rugby career, and now he's transitioned to playing golf. And he's a brilliant guy, and he's going to share some insight around Welcome to Wrexham. All right, and here he is, Lloyd Thomas, Director of Wales for Christian Sport, and here he is. Welcome, Lloyd.
Welcome, Ben. Director of Christian Sport for Wales. Wow. I think that's a big title. That's a big title. Staff worker for Christian Sport in Wales. But hey, director sounds a lot better, doesn't it? Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
You're directing things in Wales as a staff worker. So
that's it. There we are. Yeah, there we are. That's good.
Yeah, Lloyd's quickly to correct this. You will need to correct this as we go on this podcast. Myself and Lloyd, very, very good friends. We trained together on the Christian Sport internship many moons ago. I think nearly 9. How many years ago, Lloyd?
Yeah, 2015, wasn't it?
Yeah, so a long time ago, 9 years ago. Give us a great foundation, and we're brilliant friends together, and it's such an encouragement to have you here, Lloyd. You didn't get the memo about the books behind you, though. What happened to that?
I didn't. Well, look, you know me, not too educated, Ben. So I didn't want to make people think I know a lot.
But you've got a PhD, haven't you?
Yeah, the one that matters. The one that matters.
Which is
prayer, healing, and deliverance, brother. That's my PhD.
We love it. We love it.
It's good to be with you, boys. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, look, first question is, as always, we like to ask people around this phrase: "Already won." What does that mean to you?
Well, look, I promise, as a Welsh person, I'm not going to answer every question by singing. But if we're doing word association, that question, what does already won mean to me as a sports person? I'm not sure if you've come across the Shane and Shane song, I'm fighting a battle. And just that lyrics, and I'm fighting a battle, you've already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. I don't know what you're doing, but I know what you've done. I'm fighting a battle, you've already won. And that phrase for me, like the lyrics of that song, just remind me of the security that we live from as followers of Jesus. And I think that's been massive for me as a sports person, that I get to play my sport and I get to enjoy the sport I'm involved in from a place of acceptance and not for it. And I think that's been massive. Naturally in the world of sport, your significance, your worth, your security, your acceptance, it's all wrapped up in your performance, isn't it? But at the heart of the gospel is a relationship we receive, not achieve. So I go into the world of sport now already won in the way I can enjoy and play the game that God's given me, the gifts to do so, really. So, yeah, it's class.
He's quoting a song from our playlist, Ben. I mean, it's destiny right there.
Look at that.
It's amazing, actually. When we birthed this podcast, this was you were the two people who had this. So, Carl, we were singing Already Won, and Lloyd was singing Already Won to me as well, and that's how it came about. So God was like confirming it through Lloyd. And Lloyd, we want you to sing more. We need more. People want you to sing every single answer when you can. You didn't really sing then as well, so
I know. I held back just to read. I don't want people putting off the podcast in the first 3 minutes. When I start singing.
Great. I think you saw a picture of those watching online. There's a picture with you with a ball, and it looks like you missed your helmet and your shoulder pads. I'm sorry. It's like, was it tag football or flag football? What were you playing?
Yeah, it's a bit. Obviously, in Wales, it makes us a bit tougher than your side of the ocean, Kyle. So no pads for us, but it's the game of rugby, and I started as a 6-year-old, and I'm actually. Ending at the end of this season now, 26 seasons of playing rugby. So I'll be finishing 3 games left. So hoping to get through them without serious injury. But it's been brilliant. My dad took me to my local village rugby team as a 6-year-old. And ever since then, I've just loved the game. Loved being able to play it. Thankful for the ability and passion that God's given me for it. And over them 26 years, really, I've had the privilege to play in many different teams, in some different leagues, in different competitions, and just meet some incredible people along the way. It's definitely been an up and down roller coaster. I think, when I was preparing for chatting to you boys, I thought, I've probably, if I counted all the games up, I've definitely lost more rugby games than I've won in my career. And there's been some highs and some lows, many injuries in between. But I think, as I kind of look back, it's just the friendships. I go out to my wife and you say hello to someone, she's like, oh, who's that? Oh, I played with them a few seasons ago. I've played against them. And, the traveling opportunities the sport gives you as well to play in different areas. I know you showed a picture there, just being able to play in a tens tournament in Vientiane and in Laos. So great experiences through rugby. Lots of injuries, lots of scars, lots of aches. But so thankful that, in God's kindness, He given me the ability to play that game and the passion for it, really. But slowly transitioning now into the game of golf. So hurts a lot less.
Don't do it.
Well, Kyle,
stay away from the light.
It hurts a lot less physically, but mentally, you're right. It is breaking me at the moment. But maybe in a year's time we can come back and you can ask me how the beginning of a golf career is going.
Remember, Lloyd, it's you've already won. Like, when you go through, hopefully it's more wins than losses as you play golf. But I can imagine it might continue the theme. Yeah, after we've played together. But look, you are Mr. Wales to me. You are a Welshman through and through. You're a top singer. You worked in the mines before you worked with Christian sport, and you love rugby. And you had an amazing, life-changing year right abroad with rugby. Tell us a little bit about the contract you had and what happened in that year, because that for me is where your life hit a crossroads and you were changed and transformed. So tell us about that.
Yeah. No, it's definitely 2014 always I look back on as a significant year, definitely in my life. Like you said, if you play in Wales bingo, I definitely tick all the stereotypes. Worked in the mines, play rugby, enjoy a good sing-song, and
international karaoke legend.
Go to church and things. But I think you're right, Ben. Like I spoke about playing rugby in different teams. Throughout growing up, naturally, as a sports person, you just want to be accepted, don't you? And I think that longing for acceptance, whether that's, amongst your peer group in school, whether that's, in the rugby team, wherever you find yourself, ultimately as people, we want to be accepted by the people around us. And I think growing up, you can reflect looking back, you get good at being who you need to be in different circles, I suppose, to gain the acceptance of those around you. And especially in sport, your position on the team, your contribution to the team, you want to be in the in crowd, whether that's the coach picking you in the first team, or whether that's just the players feeling you're an asset to the team. So I think that just gives you this kind of longing to perform and to play up and to kind of be who you need to be in different circles. And I suppose when I went out to Australia to play rugby in 2014, I just met some great guys that love the Lord. They had a personal faith in Jesus, and they loved sport. And as I watched them, whether they were in a Christian gathering, or whether they were in the rugby club, or whether they were on a night out, or whether they was training or on the beach, in any setting, they were the same people. I remember watching them thinking, wow, they've got such a security, like in who they are, that I know for me, hadn't always been there growing up. If you're in different circles, you adapt. And like I said, you're who you need to be accepted. And throughout that year, I went to church with them boys, really got to dig deeper in my understanding of what the Christian message is, what the Bible says, and really helped me understand that, at the core of the Christian message is a relationship with God we receive through Jesus, is a secure identity that we receive through Jesus, and we don't have to achieve that. So I think prior to that, I believed in God, but I probably had an understanding of God like a coach, that I had to kind of perform for him. That I had to kind of gain his acceptance by the way I lived. But yeah, like you said, that year really helped me understand that, actually God wasn't asking me to achieve. He was just asking me to receive all that he'd done for me through Jesus. And yeah, that year then went on to, like I said, change the direction of my life in a big way.
So now you haven't given up your rugby boots yet. You're still jamming away. I would recommend highly. I'll send you my football helmet here. I got here. You can last game. You could put it on, just see what happens. Maybe some magic will spark. But now you work with Christian in sports. So tell us about Christian in sports and maybe even your role. Like, what are you doing in Wales besides bashing people with the gospel? I mean, the rugby.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Like you said, I came back from 2014 and started an internship at Christians in Sport, and that's where me and Ben met. And I got in touch with Christians in Sport from Australia, actually, Kyle, because I kind of didn't know what was next for me, but I kind of had this passion to kind of help sports people connect sport and faith. For me, growing up in Wales, still kind of a heavy traditional view, and there was a wedge between sport and faith. So I really had a passion to help sports people understand that you don't have to choose between sport and faith. That actually, the Bible says that God's given us all gifts and passions and abilities, and we get to use them to enjoy and worship God. So for me, I kind of had connected sport and faith in an amazing way, and I really wanted to kind of see how I could come back to Wales and work in that. And that was a conversation I had with Christians in Sport, and I came on their internship year and I met Mr. Wildman himself. And what that's looked like over the last few years, and continuing now in what I get the joy to do, full time overseeing the work in Wales, is them two things: giving sports people an opportunity to connect sport and faith, to hear the hope that the Bible speaks about. But also supporting Christian sports people to live out their faith where they find themselves in the world of competitive and elite sport. in the pressures and performance world they find themselves in. So yeah, I get the joy, whether it's working with girls and boys in youth summer camps, weeks of coaching, and connecting sport and faith, university students, adult amateur networks, and elite Bible studies. Always them two things, helping sports people discover the hope of Jesus and how sport and faith connect, and supporting the Christian athlete who's involved in competitive and elite sport to live out that faith in a real tough performance based culture. So yeah, that's my joy, and that's the privilege of what I get to do.
So good, so good. And people listening probably may have heard of Sports Plus, which is the summer camps that young people can go on. So if you've got a young person who would want to go, or if you're an adult who wants to serve, you can get in touch with Lloyd, right? There's also, like Lloyd said, university events where, there's loads of stuff that goes on, sharing the gospel through sports tournaments that Lloyd does, and adult networks as well, which is really exciting because in recent years, the Christian Sport have set up these adult networks across the whole of the UK, which includes Wales, right, Lloyd? So you've set up a few of those in universities and across Wales. What's that been like for you?
Yeah, that's what's wonderful, I think, about the networks and the different groups that Christian sports people can get involved in. Because, I'm not sure what it's like, Kyle, in America, but I know for Wales, you can be in kind of church community and you can have people that love the Lord but have got no passion or desire for sport at all. And then you can be in your world of sport and people love sport, but obviously they don't love the Lord. So it's just a wonderful time in these networks to connect, periodically through the year with other people that love Jesus, love sport, that get what you're up to, get the reality of that, to share the highs and lows of sport, to pray together, and to encourage one another to live out our faith and share our faith with the sports friends that we find ourselves amongst.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I think the whole idea of sport has been, commercialized here. I'm sure in the UK as well, and Wales and different places. It's just about sometimes who can be the best, right? And that's great, but we've lost sight of the sort of networking and camaraderie and just getting to know your fellow mates. Speaking of fellow mates, well, no, let's go to this question. I guess Wales. We joke here in the U.S. that we have 50 states, but there's 55 if you count in all these other places that are territories and whatnot. But Wales is its own country, but it's part of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
So this is something we need to educate us, because we can't say Wales is a county or a country. I mean, it is a country, not a county of England. Give us some insight on Wales and show us your true Welsh.
I don't know how true of my Welsh you want me to show, but you're right. I'll educate. So Wales is its own country, a very proud nation, with its own language. And rich heritage and rich history. So it's part, like you said, currently part of the United Kingdom, makes up the four nations that represent that: Scotland, England, Northern Ireland, and Wales. So when it comes to rugby, every 4 years we do unite and play together for the British and Irish Lions. But then, apart from that, there's good, healthy, fierce rivalry when it comes to kind of major tournaments where Wales will represent themselves, Scotland, Ireland, England in the kind of Six Nations. But I suppose in terms of sport and the history of Wales, it's actually really interesting, Kyle. In the early 1900s, there's a big revival in Wales, and some of the older rugby clubs that had been set up and established before then, if you go into them, you can see on the captain's boards, and there's 3 pauses where rugby didn't take place. You've got the Great War, World War One, 1914 to 18. You've got the Second World War, 1939 to 1945. But on some of these captain boards, you have 1904 to 1906, and it just says revival. And really interesting, actually. There's there's a rich history of God moving in a powerful way across Wales in the past. But interesting, culturally back then, when people came to faith, they withdrew from the world of sport. And there was obviously no one to play. So the churches were filled and the sports clubs were empty. But I just find it amazing that obviously over 100 years on, here we are now, sports friends, Christians of sport, trying to get people out of the church into the sports clubs and teams to share the good news of Jesus. So Wales has got an amazing past, but I've got to believe that the future and what to come is better. I think the next revival will be one that hopefully empties the churches and fills the sports clubs with followers of Jesus willing to live for him, in them environments, unashamed.
A lot of our understanding of Wales, I think, has come around this documentary, right, which we're really excited to talk about. So now Wrexham is America's team, right, Kyle?
What are you talking about?
He's got it. That's unbelievable.
There it is.
Amazing.
So obviously, Lloyd just educated on that side of Wales, but obviously the documentary is brilliant, right? It gives you stuff about Welsh cakes, there's loads of facts around it. I love when it comes up in the documentary where it's got the translation in Welsh and stuff. Yeah. So my Welsh language was improving. I know I've got Diolch and Araf, which means slow, and I'm improved through the documentary. But we loved it. Kyle and I loved it, as a lot of Americans probably loved it. But tell us, Lloyd, from actually, let's go with Kyle first. Kyle, you tell us from an American point of view, what did you love about the documentary? And then let's go to Lloyd.
I think it hit North America pretty large because it just said welcome to Wrexham, and people didn't know what's Wrexham. They were interested. They piqued their interest, so they started watching it. And then, this is about Wales. Oh wait, this is also about Wrexham, the football club. Oh, this is about the community. So it really brought the whole the whole package into it. And I think from that, Ben and I went to Wrexham to catch a game, and there were Americans outside. It not only raised the level of interest in football, but just generally in the world of Wales and Wrexham. So it's been great to see.
Yeah, I'd agree, Ben. I think what the documentary's done well is them things. It's really kind of respected the Welsh language, really respected what matters to the community and the supporters of Wrexham Football Club. And they've really kind of understood what matters and what makes that area unique. The history, the story, what separates Wrexham and Wales and that community from other areas of the UK. And I think they've been really respectable to that and drawn that out really well. And I've loved the good banter they've shown, especially around the Welsh language as well, and putting that on the map.
They've definitely put Wrexham on the map. I mean, Carl and I went and we stayed over, and we went over on a Friday night, and we weren't sure what we expected, right? And we were shocked at, there was the race course, there was the pub, and there was only the fish and chip restaurant open, and that was it on a Friday. So for us going there, obviously the documentary, it showed how they've looked to try and change and transform forgotten place, a place of no hope, a place of rich history. They're the oldest. What was it, Lloyd? What's the oldest football team?
Oldest football stadium, I think.
Stadium.
Oldest football stadium. Yeah.
Such a rich history, and we went into the turf, the pub, and around it, you've got the history of when they've played in top games. They've played, the biggest teams in the world they've played against. So there's rich history. But amazingly, these guys have come in. Now, people maybe have different opinions of it around the guys who are the owners, but there's no doubt that they have changed and transformed this place and put Wrexham on the map, which is great. But we met a special guy, Kyle. Who did we meet when we were there?
Me? You met me? Oh, you met Will the Kill Farrell, yes.
Oh, unbelievable. I can't believe it.
So Lloyd loves
absolutely here.
What's your favourite Will Ferrell quote, Lloyd, and then we'll share the story around it.
Yeah, look, I don't. We haven't got enough time for me to reel them all off. But honestly, these questions people ask, if you could kind of have three celebrities around a dinner table, who would you have? Will Ferrell is number one for me. Kyle, there are. Will Ferrell. There's the three. Will Ferrell,
Holy
Ben,
Trinity.
Kyle.
Will, Kyle, and Ben.
What an awesome What an
Well,
awesome
we
kind of
were
atmosphere.
watching the early kickoff, right, Lloyd? So we were watching it, and Carl and I, there must have been about 20, 30 people, maybe more. It was small, right? And then we spoke to the guy who owns the pub, in the documentary, and he was a really nice guy. And we were just having a chat with different people. I'd actually lost my voice.
Hello.
So that was actually quite good because I was an Englishman there, and I think my Geordie accent might have come across. So I don't know if God protected us with that. Anyway, as we were there, who walked in was none other than Will Ferrell himself, who sat at the back of the pub, and he just sat there, right, Carl, and he was just talking with a few of the guys, the team manager. And what was your reaction, Carl, when he came in? I mean, yeah.
Well, it was great. I mean, so Will Ferrell loves, community-based things, right? I mean, as an American, he'll pop up in someone's, picture, photobomb things if he's around. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty and just be at the local level. So to see him there was not a shock, but was a shock. Like, how on earth? Who invited him? I'm sure it was Ryan or the other guy. So I'm sure they came in there like that. But it was like he just showed up. And he was there, and he was hanging out like a regular guy. He comes in, and everyone's taking pictures of him, including Abs Boy here, who's trying to get a selfie with him, and then hits something else and doesn't get a picture. I think it's been great to see that as well. He was on his England trip, so it was nice to have him around.
Brilliant, love that. And like you said, it's just, I think that's what they've done, isn't it? Is put a lower league team just on the global stage. And whatever your views of that, like you said, Ben, loads of people have it. But I just think they've shown how, if you give people hope, the difference it can make. And ultimately, they've brought that hope through investing in a football club, isn't it? But you just see the wisdom of the Bible again, where it speaks about, without hope, people perish. And at the heart of the Christian message is a hope for each and every one of us. And yeah, I think you could draw the parallels, and we could have a full sermon out of it, no doubt. But
that's it. You could have a whole sermon series, I think. I'm looking forward to you preaching it, Lloyd. But no, like around that, like I'd have hoped that I was going to get a selfie with Will Ferrell. But like Kyle said, he was walking out, and I pressed the button to to put the screen the other way, and it pressed pano instead of the other thing. So by the time he was there, he literally walked back, and I was on pano. And then I couldn't take it. So yeah, he just said, "You've got strong abs," is all he said. And as he walked out, and I couldn't even say anything because my voice had gone. So anyway, I missed that opportunity. But
that's huge.
So I missed that one opportunity. But anyway, I wanted him to say, "You stay classy, Wrexham," but he walked off like that. Anyway, you said around transformation, Lloyd, and you can't cope without the hope. And this idea, like they have changed and transformed Wrexham, and they're going to continue to do so. But you believe that we can be changed and transformed through all eternity. It doesn't cost you millions of US dollars. It doesn't. You don't have to have sponsorship from TikTok. But what does that look like for you? Because you're working now, Christian sport, trying to bring change and transformation to many sports people's lives. And what does that look like for you? Do you think across the rest of Wales in the future? True transformation.
Yeah, I think like keeping it to girls and boys, men and women that love sport, that for whatever reason, God's given something that just sport gets you going in a big way. And regardless of what level you've played on, I think everyone's been through school sports day, haven't they? And for some young people, school sports day is your big day, a chance to show everyone in the school why you are a legend. And some young people will just be dreading it and wanting a parent's note not to do it. But we've all been involved in sports day, but even if you're a parent now, when you're watching and different things, every young boy and girl do the same thing, don't they? Right to that starting line, they're looking round, heads like meerkats, trying to see where they can spot their grandfather, or their mother, dad. Because once someone's watching that's going to love you regardless the result, it just gives you a peace. The reality is that little girl or little boy never leaves you as a sports person. As you grow up, no matter what level of sport you end up playing at, whether you go right to elite level, you speak to any elite athlete, whether they're walking out on the tennis court, whether they're walking out in a big stadium to play a team sport. first thing they're doing is looking to see where their friends are, where their family are, where someone's watching that's going to love them regardless of the result. And that is the heart of the Christian message, isn't it? That in life there's a God that watches us, that loves us regardless of how we've performed. And I think to see Wales transformed and see the world of sport transformed in Wales, I think is to give every sportsman and women an opportunity to hear the good news of Jesus. And that's what I'm passionate about doing, whether it's one by one, team by team, whether the gospel of Jesus would be known by sports people up and down this country. And I think, and believe by doing that, transformation will come.
So if we see you at the Wrexham in the behind the goal with the John 3:16 sign, we know that you've made it, right?
We made it. Hey, do you know what? And you never know. There probably maybe Christians in Wrexham Football Club already, just doing the business, praying, and
there we go,
and taking opportunities as they come. But wouldn't that be brilliant to see that?
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to go to a game with you, Lloyd, to the game, because I went with Kyle. We sat in there and all the English fans were singing, and the Welsh fans were singing at the English and you dirty English and whatever else. And I was saying, look, hey, I come in peace here. I come in peace. But we're united through this what's happened. So, it's an incredible thing, the power of sport. But what you talked about there is the ultimate transformation and the ultimate change that we believe comes through people's hearts and through accepting Christ into your life. And Lloyd, we wish you all the best as you continue your ministry with Christian sport across Wales, as you direct and work and set up these networks and connect with other Christian sport people there. But also, we wish you all the best in your golf career, because you need to remember you're already won, whether they're through the highs and lows. I'm sure there's going to be more highs and hopefully less lows.
More highs. Okay.
Come on.
Yeah. Just remember, if you do have more highs, don't get high in your own supply. Don't get high in your own supply.
Awesome. No, thanks, boys.
Yeah.
Been
You're
good
going to
to
be
chat.
beating me, Lloyd, on the course, because he plays a lot more than I do. So, don't get high in your own supply when you whip me and the next time we play.
There we are. We will. It'll be good.
Great.
Brilliant.
Class. Cheers, Kai. Thanks, Ben. Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Cheers, boys.
That was great. That was great to have Lloyd on, the former director. The staff worker for Wales Christian Sports. You almost got him in trouble, Ben.
Sorry about that.
It was good to have Caleb as well in the background. I noticed there was some attention needed there. So
I had to do that. I apologize if you video listeners had to go and do something, but I'll share my quote after this, Wildman's Weekly Words, and why I did it. So, but Carl, first, teachable moment. You said there was going to be a Canadian on. He didn't come in. Deadpool wasn't here, but there's another Canadian.
We got another Canadian. We can't get Ryan Reynolds. He's coming next week or next season. We're working on that. But we have the next best thing. Another Canadian is going to share us a teachable moment. Charles Millette, who's in Peru. Now he's back in Canada doing Sports Friends.
My name is Charles Millette. I'm in Canada with Sports Friends Canada, and the teachable moment came in a very surprising way, where one of the dads brought us fruit to consume at the end of a practice, and I used it to teach about sharing. So I had something ready about wisdom, and then I just thought about, hey, not every person that gets on a team has many friends, but everyone deserves to be included in a friendship circle. So what I did during the teaching moment is that I gave a few of these little oranges or clementines. I gave a few, like 2 or 3 to this kid, and 5 to this one, and 0 to that one, and 2 or 3. And then at one point we said, like, is this fair? Is this good? Do we all deserve one? And obviously they do deserve one, and it doesn't make sense for someone to have many friends or to have many oranges and others to have none. So we talked about inclusion and love, and how sharing and including people in your friendship circle is important. So we just used what was given to us, surprisingly, as that little bag of like clementines, and we used it to talk about friendship.
I like that. He's not Ryan Reynolds, but that hat, he's got some class.
It. But Carl, we've heard today around this change and transformation of a community in Wales and Wrexham, and Charles has just shared that around Canada. And amazingly, around our different countries we're in with Sports Friends, we train coaches to try and change and transform communities through sharing the gospel and doing that. And so that story there is one of many around what we could share right around Sports Friends. So brilliant story from Charles there. What a Canadian. Fantastic. We got one on. And I love Lloyd as well. Loads of things we can take from that. I think he said receive, not achieve. Loads. He had the wisdom flowing, that guy. But let me drop some Wildman Weekly words. Let me drop some here. There we go. You can't get sick of this. And Lloyd loves these as well. He loves these. So this is one that he likes as well. And it's around Caleb. I had to jump out. And the quote is this: we rise by lifting others up. And unfortunately, I had to go out the podcast briefly to go and lift Caleb up. But we rise by lifting others up. And I tell you, that's quite a good quote, right, Carl? That's what our coaches are doing around the world. That's what Charles is doing in Canada. And that's what Lloyd is doing across Wales, directing as a staff worker, different things around it. But we rise by lifting others up. And that's a powerful quote I wanted to leave us with. And we're believing for more revival in Wales. We're believing for more change and more communities to be changed and transformed in years to come as well. Enjoy that, Carl, today.
Wildman's Weekly Words. Loved it. Great show. We're almost done with the season, Ben. So we're looking forward to the next season when Ryan Reynolds comes on, and I think we'll get Pep Guardiola. Pep is going to be on. Coach Pep.
We're going to get. Hey, we can't promise. We can't reveal who it's going to be, but we can promise they're going to be people who know that they already won. That's right. So, guys, don't quit. Tell your friends, and we'll see you next time for another hashtag.
Your parents too. Your parents' friends too.
Friends.
Tell everybody.
All the friends. All the friends.
Thanks again for joining us on Already Won, a Sports Friends podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe on your favorite streaming platform.